I think half the battle with LinkedIn, Lily, is that people think about it too much. And I'm not even going to think about it. We're not even going to prepare it. In fact, we're live right now. So say hello to everybody.
Hello.
I literally, this is completely off
the hook. Food in my mouth. I wasn't ready for that.
I know, but that's how good it should be. It's meant to be like a fly on the wall. People just dropping in and watching Carl and Lily have a gas bag.
That's true.
Because ultimately, I don't want this thing. Do you know what? I must admit, every time I see so-and-so is live, I get this conflict in my head about, I want to have a look, but no, I can't be bothered because everyone's now going live. But then I realize not everybody is fortunate to have the capability of going live on LinkedIn, and it is really difficult to get it.
Yeah, why is it so difficult? Like, what happens? How do you
I don't know.
How do you go live?
You have to apply to LinkedIn to get the capabilities to go live, and to do that, I think you have to have a certain amount of, I guess, traction on LinkedIn already. So there's no point going live. There's no point going live if you've only got 10 followers, right? So I think they look at things like your influence, whether or not you've got any followers, whether or not you've got any impact, or whether or not people are actually going to give a shit when you actually go live. Now, forgive me 1 second. I'm just going to grab my thing and see if I can get so we can have a look at the comments coming in. But like I was saying, I have this conflict in my head that as soon as I go live, I go, oh, not again. So there's no point going live. And so I'm going to turn that down. And so I don't know what people think about it, because I don't know how many people. I watch some of the biggest influencers on LinkedIn, and in fact, I joined one the other day, and I know for a fact there's a good. Look, there'll be at least 1 million people combined on these 4 people's LinkedIn profiles, and still there's only 40 people live, 39 people live at one time, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. I think it is quite a lot of people to have 40 people viewing. But how do you hold their attention is the thing. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, 'cause people just drop in, drop out all the time.
I'm hoping with my hairy face, because I'm in lockdown and I ain't shaving for shit.
I so beard.
So I wanted to just I guess come and give everybody an update on what's been happening with us, because we didn't do a LinkedIn live Monday or Tuesday, Monday because it was Easter, and
I haven't done one yet this week. Yeah,
and it's Wednesday already, and there's so much good stuff happening. And how are you going? How's your week going?
Yeah, look, like the end of I think the end of last week was just huge. So yeah, this week I think there was a bit of like, not pressure from anyone else, but like there was a bit of like pressures on, because we have to make it as big as it was last week. So for anyone that doesn't know, we've brought in a new sales rep. So he's been reaching out to all these different people at all these different companies, and he's doing an amazing job of getting some sign-ons. So I think pressure was on this week to like make it as big as it was last week. But at the end of the day, it's kind of a holiday week. Like, there's a lot of people away.
That's an excuse,
but so far,
no excuses.
I know. But so far, it's actually going quite well. So yeah, it's been good. We've got, I think, we've got 11 new sign-ons this week.
Hold on, it's only we've only been going for 1 day, and there's 11 new execs already signed on.
Yes, there are indeed.
And by the way, 1 second, just have to interrupt this broadcast to bring you a special announcement. Paul Crowe, who's currently sitting in Singapore, has jibed me about this beard, because he reckons, he asked, is this the best I can do? Well, actually, Paul, yes, it is the best I can do. This is actually 3 weeks worth. I can't grow a beard for shit. But so 11 already this week, which is insane.
Yeah, no, it's good. Like, I kind of fully expected it to be a quiet week, because there's so many people, like, not away, but like a lot of people had already taken off this time. So I didn't know if everyone was going to be online. Like, I know there's a few people that we work with that are away this week. So, so yeah, but so far.
And school holidays too. And it's school holidays as well.
Yeah, well, not in Victoria just ended, but yeah.
Well, we've that growth for me is exciting, because I know as we're always constantly looking, what we're doing with Meet Magic is really revolutionizing the sales process, and we hear these stories. You hear them on the calls that we have with these salespeople that tell us, "Oh my God, I can't believe how good that meeting was," because they're now having a human connection with somebody, as opposed to that 1980s, walk in the door and pitch a product.
Yeah,
they're actually getting to build a human connection with somebody, and that's actually opening up the door. It's almost like we've created an altruistic model to selling by putting people directly in front of decision makers for a purpose. And I know tomorrow there's a meeting happening with a very prominent CIO, and we've coached the salesperson how to take that meeting, because ultimately these meetings should not be about selling, and that regardless of whether or not you think you're a salesperson, your job is to not sell and to deliver value by not selling. Because I think as soon as you open up your pitch and start selling, people switch off. I know that's just the psychology of the brain, because people always want what they can't have. They chase what moves away from them, and they only value what they pay for. I'll say that again, because that's a bit of psychology gold there. People always want what they can't have. I'm a single guy, by the way, and when guys want that girl, they always want that girl that they can't have, and they chase that girl and she moves away. That's just the same as you trying to sell a product. The psychology is, if you chase it, it will move away, and you chase things that move away. So you always want what you can't have. You chase what moves away from you, and you only value what you pay for. So what we're doing here is literally disrupting the whole 1980s model of selling by putting the salespeople in front of the decision maker for a whole different new purpose. And that's the meetmagic.org website right there, which
can I put a little ticker across?
Yeah, and if you're not on, and one of the things that Lily and I have been on calls about this week already, which I'm really excited about, is the ability to really modernize this even further. Now, I'm gonna put.
I think we need to get the Trigger guys on here to actually talk about this, because this is huge.
Well, absolutely, and I know, without mentioning names, that these stats here are really important to salespeople. 50% of sales, get this quote, go to the first seller to contact the buyer. Work that out for a second. So that basically means if you're first to having a conversation about something, the likelihood is you've got a 50% chance of getting that sale. Now, you've got to work this out from a realistic point of view. That means you've got to understand certain things that are happening in the market, right? Now, some of those things could be, a technology install. So maybe Paul Crow over at Vodafone Global Services has just flogged something to, I don't know, a transport company, and all the noise on the market is happening around that, and we can alert on that. Or maybe it could be something very similar. But the point is, when you know about information that's happening immediately, you can act on it. And that, I think 50% of selling going to the first person that contacts the buyer is quite a thing. So we're looking now at implementing something. So when you come on the Meet Magic platform, not only will you get access to a decision maker, but you'll get to understand really important insights into what's happening inside that organization. Like, what technology are they using? What cybersecurity platform are they currently running? What is their infrastructure? Is it cloud-based? Is it public? All that good stuff. So when you're actually walking into this meeting with an exec, or virtually now at the moment, you're doing a video, you're actually well prepared. And if you can get that to that person first, that's going to be really interesting. And one of the challenges that Meet Magic has is, and it's not well known yet because we don't talk about it too much because we haven't faced it a massive amount, but decision makers move on. And when they move on, obviously we're engaged with them, but we often have their work email address and don't know that they're sometimes moved on. So we have to go and get hold of them and find out, where are you? Oh, I've just left and I've gone to this new company. Well, get this one, because if you now are first to talk to that decision maker, a brand new decision maker is 10 times more likely to become your customer than the incumbent. Let that sink in for a minute, because we know that executives have a finite amount of time in a company. We know that some executives, for example, they will pitch to the board about saving $500 million, and they will then go on a 3-year journey to try and save that find that $500 million saving, and maybe take the company digitally transform the company. So by the time they get to the 3rd year, they're looking to obviously achieve their objectives, get their bonus, and move on. That's a standard procedure for any CIO, right?
Yeah.
3 years, 3-4 years, and off they go to the next job. Well, imagine if you now are aware of that, and you can now go and engage with that CIO, CTO, and have a conversation with them just as they're about to walk into that new company. Well, as law would have it, well, a new decision maker is 10 times more likely to become your customer. So imagine now, if you're a part of the Meet Magic platform, you're on board, you're now going to get access to not only to the decision maker, but to some really important and quite amazing insights, which, I think when we look at decision makers changing roles, it happens all the time, because jobs don't work out.
Yeah.
People clash. People can't change the board. There's all sorts of different reasons why execs move on. So I thought that was interesting. And I know, when we start introducing this, so I just want to know, is that going to be of value to you as a salesperson to be able to get access to that type of information? If leave a message in the comments and let us know if you're watching this on replay. But other than that, what else is happening? I wanted to talk a little bit about Nabi and the Cover Hero guys, because the more I think about this, the more the Cover Hero team really are. I mean, if you're not talking to Cover Hero as a company, if you're a small company, it's up to 50 or 100 staff or whatever you've got, and you want to insure your workers, you should be talking to companies like Cover Hero, because they really are doing, they're taking what we're doing in sales and taking it from the industrial revolution mindset into the digital era. What Cover Hero are doing that for insurance. So they're basically giving the gig economy workers access to insurance and cover for their salary, and that's something, it gives peace of mind right now. Which so I wanted to give Nabi and the Cover Hero guys a big shout out. We're going to be introducing Cover Hero to all of our team, because I'm really concerned about you, Lily.
Why? Thank you. Means a lot.
Well, it's just, I just think if you're going to be a modern company, you better use modern things. And
yeah, exactly. And I think that's exactly what we're doing. Like, some of the meetings that Carl and I have had in the last week and a bit have been with some of the most forward-thinking, like small businesses, but forward-thinking, futuristic, intuitive, innovative, like companies that I've ever even heard of. Right? Like some of the stuff that the people that we're talking to, some of the stuff that they're doing, I didn't even think was possible. I thought that's way too in the future. But so to think that, and all of these are as well, what makes me so happy is we work with a lot of small businesses. Yeah. And they're helping us grow and we're helping them grow. And it's kind of like, we're just all mates. We're just all keeping each other trucking along. And it's really, really lovely. And some of the meetings that we've had, I can't wait to share everything about all of them, obviously. But I think we'll probably have to wait until they're all finalized.
It is really exciting. But when you think about it, I mean, literally off one of those meetings yesterday, I literally felt like I jumped from the industrial revolution to the digital age. It was to be able to have I mean, I'm a sales guy at heart, right? So to be able to go from learning about my competitors failing to learning about who's looking for money or fundraising at the moment, to looking at people who are potentially going through a merger or an acquisition, to looking at what companies installing what technology, and to look at product or service user changes, and to be able to get that information in my hands as it happens, not 2 weeks after it's happened.
So that's exactly what this service provides, and it's insanity to think all of that is real.
It is total insanity to think that that's an unfair advantage that you're having as a salesperson. So the question is, do you want an unfair advantage as a salesperson?
I think all of us do.
Right. So imagine you join on the Meet Magic platform, and then you get access to our Slack channel where all the shit happens. It's all on there. And imagine all of a sudden, exec leaves, he moves to a new company. It comes into your Slack channel because that's your target company that you're going after. You immediately know this person's name. You've got his details. You've got his phone number. We've put you in front of him, and you're walking in there knowing exactly what infrastructure is in place, exactly what's worked and what's not worked. Imagine the level of that conversation.
Yeah. It's insane.
That is not a question of, oh, can you tell me what you do today? We're telling you what is happening today.
I know what you've done yesterday, so I'm going to tell you what you're going to do today, which is something that no other salesman would know, but that's why you're going to do it. It's
really powerful. You know, I was talking to somebody today about what that looks like in reality, and I couldn't help but think of fishing for some stupid reason. My brain just paints in pictures, and I thought, imagine fishing. You know, and that's what salespeople do. They go fishing. They throw it out there, and they wait for someone to come along and try and bite the hook. Well, the smart fishermen, they get in a boat and they go out into the sea where all the seagulls are hopping around because there's a big pot of fish underneath there, and they just drop themselves straight in there. That's what we're giving. We're giving that same ability to just drop straight in and pick up a sale. And that shortens the actual sales cycle completely. It lowers the cost of sale completely, and it improves absolutely everything. So one of the things I want to do with Meet Magic, and I'd love some comments on this, because this is I think, you know, if I had this back in my day, I'd do it. If I was a sales VP right now and I was hiring $180,000 a year base salary salesperson, you know, on target earnings of say 450, 500, I would want to make sure that person is super successful, because they would have gone through 8, 9, 10 interviews, whatever it is they've had. They've had to meet everybody up and down the line to make sure that they've got that, you know, the right person. By the time it gets to job offer stage, you know, sales VPs wondering, well, this person is good, clearly, because we want to hire them. They've probably got 2 or 3 conversations going on with other companies simultaneously, but they're not saying that. So how do you convince them to come and have and work with you? Well, you give them stock options, RSUs, great. You give them health insurance, tick. You give them maybe, you know, an on-target bonus, or maybe a sign-on bonus. You might get, you know, 6 months runway to ramp up. You might have all these things. You might have a car allowance or whatever. Just imagine if you said to them, as part of your signing on bonus, we're going to give you 10 Meet Magic meetings with 10 senior executives for you to go and knock yourself out. Show us how good you are. That is a complete investment in making sure that salesperson is as successful as they can be. And I know you'll all be saying, you're going to hire this person because they've already got their own contacts, but we know the score. We know how this works. Yes, every good salesperson has got 1 or 2 C-levels in their bag that they can always call upon, but they don't have 10. I know this for a fact. So imagine giving your salesperson 10 brand new C-level relationships as part of the salary package when onboarding. As a salesperson,
yeah, I love that idea. Actually, I like, if you've told it to me before, but I just think that's such a good idea.
So imagine giving them that, and then giving them all this information, these triggers and everything else that market information on the customer to go in and have those meetings with. Well, it's almost like you don't need the salesperson anymore.
But it's also like, I just love that idea, because it comes back to investing in your own employees, and investing in this person, and basically going, I think you can do this, go do it. But also, at the end of the day, if they get all those sales, that then makes you look good. So it just, there's no downside.
Yeah.
And also, you just helped a lot of sick children with 10 meetings. You just helped so many seriously ill children.
Yeah.
You've just donated $7,000 pretty much to the Starlight Children's Foundation. There's literally no downside.
Yeah. And, I think those stories, for anyone out there that doesn't understand what we do, the whole Meet Magic story has been around for 3 years. We're sort of starting to get some traction now. We've got this product to market fit happening where people are actually coming to us and talking about us, and That's because we're delivering value to the salespeople and the marketing teams. They really get the fact that they can have these meetings with these senior execs, and it can be a great conversation, and it can do some good, and they can get some pipeline out of it. There's literally, like you say, Lily, no downside. And one of the things that's happening, I guess, quicker more than anything else is the stories that are taking place around that. So I want to somehow be able to try and capture these stories, because I always go back to these things that inspired me and kept me going when it was really hard, was the stories of inspiration that came out. And one of the first ones was, I think, Jolan van Dijk. I think he was the CIO of, let me think, hold on, brain fart. He was the CIO of Kathmandu Retailer. You know, the Kathmandu guys, they got all their shops around Australia. Well, he met with a very cool company, Wayne Arthur owns it, called Skyfi. And if you ever walk into a Westfield shopping centre and log onto the Wi-Fi, it's Skyfi that takes all of your data and helps Westfield with it. But Skyfi met with Jolan, and it was a great meeting. That meeting was $1,000, and 500 of it back then went to Johan's charity of choice. And Johan chose the Himalayan Foundation as his charity, obviously because Kathmandu and the Himalayas are obviously quite a bit of similarity there. And I called the Himalayan Foundation and said, look, we've got $500 here for your charity. What's it going to do? And they said to me, look, $500 will pay for 3 girls to go to school for the entire year, and it will pay for their books, and it will pay for their uniform. And I just said, what? And this for me was like, how can somebody having a coffee in Australia impact 3 girls' lives in another country to that extent? And that for me was just, that's what we're all trying to do here, is create these little ripples. Every single meeting that we set up has a ripple effect like that on 18 sick kids' lives. This is amazing. It's an amazing journey. And my dream for this, Lily, as you know, is to donate $250 million to charity before I die. And I hope we don't do it next year, because I don't want to die yet. Slow down. But the whole dream is to have 10 cities around the world doing 1,000 meetings every month. Not so that much, cool. Right? 1,000 meetings in a city like New York, London, Hong Kong, Singapore, Sydney. 1,000 meetings a week or a month is not a lot at all, and it's completely achievable, I think, with what we're doing. So tell me now, where are we sitting at right now? Because we've done 22 minutes. I've been waffling on. Where are we currently sitting at with the number of execs that we have available to meet with? So tell me how many execs we have. Tell me how many meetings they've pledged, and how many sick kids that will impact if all those meetings were taken. Okay,
according to our meetingforgood.org.au website, we have 187 executives registered.
That's insane.
We have 653 meetings pledged, and that helps 11,842 seriously ill children.
That's incredible. Yeah. So let's just paint that into perspective. There's 180 odd execs that have pledged 600 meetings.
Yeah.
So if each of those meetings were sold, that'd be $600,000.
Yeah.
And 70% of that $600,000 would go to Starlight, which would help 11,000 kids.
Yeah.
Forgive me. I think that's a great business.
Yeah. Pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool to be a part of. I'm not going to lie.
No, it is really, and that's a dream come true if we make that happen. So the whole short-term goal is to get 1,000 execs. And I think the way our team's working at the moment, we're going to expand it. We're going to cover them with Cover Hero, and we're going to expand that. Get some of the gig workers to come and work for us and cover them. And if we can get, let's say, 100 execs a week signed on, that's only 10 weeks. We can literally hit the 1,000 before June, which we could do.
Precious on.
We could do 100. We could do 100 meetings a week. Literally 100 meetings a week.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's crazy because it's possible. Like it's not that far fetched. and it's gonna happen. June scares me because I'm just like, whoa, could it actually happen that fast? Because if it does, I'm gonna be like running my bum off.
Yeah, with maybe your team.
But no, I like it definitely. At least within this year, it's going to happen.
I think it's very cool, and I think we've got. I think there's a lot of traction. If you're a salesperson and you've not checked out the Meet Magic stuff yet, go and have a look. I'm getting at least one new client coming to me every single day now, saying we're interested. Can you help us? Can you? And I pass them to you to go and follow up, Lily, because I'm struggling to.
I'm enjoying them.
I'm struggling to keep up with all the people that
I like sending those emails because they're an easy sell because they're already on. So I'm like, cool, I'll just sign on.
Do you understand the psychology here? People chase what moves away from them. They only value what they pay for, and they want what they can't have. Well, they can't have meetings at the moment with executives because how are you going to get them? Yeah. Well, we've got executives, right? Yeah. And to come to us, chase us. But if we actually, if it was the other way around, it guaranteed. If we went chasing them, the barriers would go up and they wouldn't be interested. I'm busy. I've been doing what I've been doing all this way, my own way. I'm doing it. So it's really interesting. The whole psychology of that whole selling thing at the moment I think it's changing a lot.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, I don't know. You got anything else you want to add? I'm waffled out.
Oh, good. Hope everyone had a great Easter. It was a very quiet one.
Yeah.
But keep staying inside and keep washing those hands. That's what I'd say.
I'm as hairy as I've ever been, but I'm as fit as I've ever been. I'm also turning 50 on April the 29th. Half a goddamn century.
Don't worry.
I don't look 50. Well, maybe I do with his beard.
No, looking great, Carl.
Thank you, darling. Anyway, thank you everybody for joining and listening in. Paul Crow, you can kiss it. I'm going to tell you off when I see you. My beard is as good as yours, mate. Anyway, until tomorrow or next time, we'll talk to you soon.
Until next time. Thank you.
Lily.
Bye.